It's Tuesday, it's first pitch, it's a day of mourning for me. And Drew is booyahing while I'm literally talking about my day of mourning. I'm the Prez, Drew Martin and Dave Cokin with us. We're talking baseball top to bottom, every game on the board. And I am so angry with my Raptors right now. I mean, just fell apart in the last minute of the game. I didn't understand the play calling. I didn't understand the use and lack of use of timeouts. I didn't understand any of it. But what I do understand is I'll be in Vegas for Game 6, sitting at a poker table, unable to watch, unable to share the vibe in Toronto, and I am pissed. Drew?
Yeah, I feel your pain, man. Your team's in the finals, and man, it's almost like you need to be able to call timeout at the poker table. You know, they need to set in a rule like that or something.
Well, just go all in the first time you get a 2-7, okay, and then you can watch the game.
Yeah, that's my plan. Anyway, yeah, so that's my story. There is a Morning Joe today. It's with me, Teddy, and a new guest. So check that out. But right now, let's get straight to baseball. And Dave Cokin, Philadelphia, hosting Arizona tonight. The home team, Phillies, are minus 133 to 150 at some spots. And the over and under is 9. Arrieta on the mound tonight. Hasn't pitched well all season, and especially in his last 3 games. What are we doing here?
Just one quick comment on that, on what took place there last night. 13 home runs in last night's Arizona-Philadelphia game, an all-time record, and it's a little ridiculous. I mean, the seams are just too tight, and that's a joke. Okay, that's an absolute joke. As for this game, you got Duplantier, the young talent for Arizona. He's up against a tough lineup. Arrieta's not pitching well. I'd lean to the Phillies to bounce back, but not real interested at the price, which is the 130 range. Just a lean for me on Philadelphia.
Drew, I like the over in this game. Both teams are hitting the ball well.
You can argue that.
Yeah, and I don't like the pitchers. So, yeah, over 9 for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't like Arrieta right now in the current form he's in versus D-backs lineup, like a lot of what Dave was talking about, just smashing the ball. So I like the Arizona Diamondbacks team total over the most in this game, but I haven't gotten involved as of right now.
Toronto on the road playing Baltimore, 2 really shit teams, 23 and 42 Blue Jays against the 20 and 45 Baltimore Orioles. It's basically a pick'em. I mean, the Blue Jays are favored slightly, minus 115. The over and under is 9 in this game, and I can't play any Blue Jay totals. They're completely inconsistent. This is a straight pass for me. Dave, where are you going here?
Look, some recency numbers. The Blue Jays have actually been pretty good against lefties recently. And the Orioles have gone back into their they're just not very good offensively, and especially against righties. I think the pitching matchup's about even. So maybe the offensive numbers carry the day here. That would point to the Blue Jays. The market has certainly gone that way. Baltimore opened 115, and now it's 115 the other way. And I would agree with that. I think the Blue Jays are the right side in this game.
Drew, interesting from Dave. John Means is pitching well. Last 3 games, a whip of 1. The whole season, a whip of 1. Great ERA. And Dave likes the Jays here with Trent Thornton.
Well, because look, and I'll make it quick. I mean, you just can't handicap games on starting pitchers anymore. You can't do it. If you are, you're probably getting beat and beaten soundly. You've got to factor in the offensive numbers into the game because these teams are regularly seeing 4 and 5 innings. I mean, a lot against bullpens. So you better have the better offense in these close games.
No, that's a good point, Dave. And you do bring up the fact that the Blue Jays are hitting better against lefties. Overall, their numbers aren't very good, but you're right. Recently they have. But at the same time, Means has pitched well, like Prez is saying. So I think it's enough to just kind of stay off of this game. I think too many question marks.
Subway Series in effect. We spoke about it yesterday. Yanks against the Mets. New York Mets won last night. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. They got rained out.
I know.
There's a doubleheader today.
I fixed myself.
So I have nothing to say on this.
Yeah, we don't talk doubleheader games. Let's just move on. Cincinnati against Cleveland. Dave, Cleveland 1 game above 500. Cincinnati 6 games below 500. What are we doing in this one?
Well, look, I mean, the Reds finally got a little bit of a rally on Sunday and scored a few runs. But, boy, their offense has been just terrible lately. Awful. And it makes it really difficult to back them here. Castillo did get back to his better form last start, but had struggled before that. Bauer's just having home run issues. I mean, his stuff looks okay, but something isn't right. He's just not pitching real good ball right now. But nevertheless, and again, we're getting into the recency offensive numbers here. You got to give an edge to Cleveland. They're hitting the ball a lot better than the Reds are right now. And I would lean Cleveland based on that and what looks like a fairly even pitching matchup.
I'm with you, Dave. I like Cleveland in this spot as well. Drew, what are your thoughts?
I'm on the other side. I mean, I'll give you this. The Indians lineup is the hotter lineup right now, but when we get Castillo at a plus price, plus 118 as high as right now at Bookmaker, he has 90 Ks in 75 innings. That's very impressive. I mean, the walks have been a little bit of an issue, four walks in each of his last 2, but I like his strikeouts. I mean, you can see it just watching him pitch. Also on the other side, Bauer, I think Dave was touching on it. His hard hit rate is very high right now. There's something up there. Even though his Ks, 103 Ks in 91 innings is impressive, for some reason when major league lineups are seeing him, they're hitting him hard. So I think Cincinnati has a little bit of advantage there, and I think at the plus 118 price, I like the Reds.
He's Drew Martin. I'm the Prez. Dave Cokin with us. Drew, it's $2 Tuesdays. We have a new handicapper to announce. Ski Profit. He's huge on Twitter. He's just joined WagerTalk today. And he's the $2 feature $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk. What's going on at Sports Memo? Is the site up? I know we were having technical issues.
Yeah, we were having some technical issues this morning, and just talked to our lead IT guy, and it's coming up. It's proliferating slowly throughout the day. He said within the next 2 hours, all clients should have access to sportsmemo.com. And when it is up, Rob Vino right now has been hot, 19 and 11, I believe, in the last week or so. So he's our $2 handicapper. So check out sportsmemo.com for $2 Tuesday.
Dave, Boston against Texas. Boston 1 game over 500, just can't seem to get on a massive run. Texas 5 games above 500 and second in the AL West. Money and tickets are pretty even in this game, 53% towards Boston, and Boston is a minus 170 to 180 favorite with the over and under at 10.5. Texas has won 3 of 4, and Boston has lost 4 of 5. Where are we going?
Well, this will be interesting because we've got Darwinzon Hernandez making his first start for the Red Sox. He did pitch a couple innings in relief to get his feet wet, and he is a really interesting guy because he's got 2 wipeout pitches, fastball and a slider. His control is very shaky. His walk rate is really high. I don't know what his future is going to be. There's some strong belief that he might end up as a bullpen piece because as of now, he really only has the 2 pitches. But boy, those 2 pitches, when he's throwing them where he wants, he's almost unhittable. Strikeout rate is just phenomenal for Hernandez. So he'll be interesting, and he's facing a Texas team that can be had against lefties. Now, he'll only be out there for 4 or 5 innings, if that, because his pitch count probably be high,
right?
And that's only goes anyway. Gerardo's pitched pretty well for Texas, but this heard me. Anybody who's watched this or read my stuff over the years knows that I really like to take lefties in their first starts. They have not been seen. They're all, they're lefties, and I think he's got a chance to mow down the Rangers if he doesn't walk too many guys, at least a couple of times through the order. I know the Red Sox bullpen did a bad job again yesterday, and they did a bad job in the Chris Sale start. Well, that was yesterday. But the bullpens are still fairly close here at worst. I think the Red Sox are winners in this game. It just depends whether you want to lay that kind of a price or not.
Drew?
Yeah, and for me, the price is just too high. Dave brought up some great points as far as him being very difficult to hit, but betting on young guys in a first start here at the major league level to throw strikes when they've had problems in the minor leagues throwing strikes is not something I like to bet on, especially not something I like to bet minus 170 on. So I'm staying away because of the fact, like Dave said, the Rangers do struggle against lefties.
Oakland on the road against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 41-24 on the year. First place in the AL East. 66% of the tickets are being written on Tampa Bay right now. They're minus 161, give or take, and their over and under is 9.
It's getting bet down now. I'm watching my screen, and it's come down in the last few minutes. It's now 155, and it looks like it's going to keep. Now I'm seeing some 150 now. So it's dropping. There's money showing up on Oakland.
Yeah, and it's funny. We talked about Tampa Bay yesterday, and I said take them on the run line. I mean, this team has just been gold on the run line all year, and they won again 6-2. Dave, where are we going?
And this is Stanek opening for Beeks, which means a lefty in there after the first inning or two. And that's Oakland's meat. I mean, they are just killing lefty pitching right now. And I think that does explain some of the line move. Fires is Fires. I mean, he's probably going to give you 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs, something like that. I think Oakland's live tonight. I would look at the A's in this one.
Drew?
I like Oakland as well. Friars, I think he's pitched well. The one thing that does worry me, though, Dave, I don't know how you feel about this. AL Central, AL West teams, also NL teams playing in Tropicana, the lighting, the atmosphere, it does always scare me. This is the second game of the series, so not the first game. First game, I don't like betting teams in that situation, but here, also Friars in the area from South Florida, so he'll have a lot of family there. But if you made me bet it, I'd be on Oakland, but outside of that, I passed.
Guys, I'm not around doing first pitch for the next week. I'm missing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Drew, do you have the software to handle tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday?
I do not as of right now, but I can get it. Okay,
well, I'm leaving it with you because Dave doesn't have it. So the two of you will do tomorrow. Drew, it's eCam, ECAMM, eCam. Download it. It's $30. And then get all the info from Missy, please. Miami, Dave. Hosting St. Louis. A lot of money is being written on St. Louis right now. About 80% of the money. They're minus 161, give or take. The over and under is 8. They won yesterday 4-1, and Miami's in a free fall. Lost 5 in a row. Hernandez versus Hudson. What do you like?
It's cheaper than that. It's minus 142, high is 150. Hernandez is one of the prized prospects in the Miami organization. He wasn't ready when they brought him up the last time, and that wasn't this year. He looks like he's ready now. He's been sensational in the minors. Dakota Hudson has really turned things around for the Cardinals. I mean, he was just getting killed early in the season, and there was some thought that he might get shuttled to the bullpen or back to the minors. But, boy, he has really come on and is pitching good ball right now. I can't back either side here. I think it's too steep to lay with the Cardinals against a very talented young pitcher from Miami. But the Marlins offense might have some trouble manufacturing runs against Hudson. So this is a straight pass for me.
Drew, what do you like?
Yeah, Marlins lineup has gone cold. They've gone from the most profitable team in baseball. They can't hit anybody right now. So I would really pump the brakes on the Marlins. I just lost on them yesterday. It's a pass for me as well.
Atlanta hosting Pittsburgh. Atlanta going over finally, 13-7 yesterday. Gausman, we spoke about a lot, Dave. Terrible outing, 2.1 innings pitched. I think we're done with him as a starter. Tonight, Atlanta is favored by minus anywhere from 148 to 156. There's a 9.5 is the over and under. Pittsburgh lost 4 in a row. Lost 7 of 9. Atlanta's won 4 in a row, playing good ball, although not pitching brilliantly. Where are we going here, brother?
This will be interesting because you had an incident last night in the game. I didn't think the umpire handled it well at all, where Donaldson got nipped with an inside pitch on the uniform and threw a hissy fit on his way down to first base. They ended up tossing him in. Musgrove, Clint Hurdle got run as well. Musgrove should not have been thrown out of the game, in my opinion. So Pittsburgh might have a little motivation tonight. They figure to be a pretty angry team. They need innings from Archer tonight. Their bullpen's a disaster right now and really got used up because of the starting pitcher getting thrown out last night. And I mean, it was just a train wreck with their bullpen. Boltonevich hasn't been real good. I mean, if you want to take a shot here, you don't know what you're going to get out of Chris Archer, who's been a disappointment for Pittsburgh, but I would lean that way. I kind of like situations where a team might have a hair up their ass for a particular game, and I think the Pirates might qualify on that here.
I like the Pirates in the spot too. I think they're very live. Chris Archer pitched a gem against Atlanta recently, about a week ago. 6 innings pitched, and then before that against Milwaukee, 7 innings pitched. Maybe we're going to start seeing the Chris Archer of old. The only problem I have is that Atlanta just saw him. So although I like Pittsburgh in this spot, it's a pass for me. Drew?
I like Pittsburgh as well. I mean, Josh Bell, I think it's a sneaky good lineup. Plus the fact Fulte, it's like he's there and then he's not there. It's really tough at this point in the season to think, is he a good pitcher? Is he not? He's really neither one for me. And the only thing I would add to what Dave said and you, Prez, as far as both liking Pittsburgh, is maybe look towards the first 5 because of the incident last night and kind of running through their bullpen there. I would look towards the first 5. You could still get it, high plus 120s right now on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, by the way, the total's creeping up in that game. It's now seeing a lot of 10s now. I can't argue with that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I said all along I'm riding the Atlanta overs blind start to finish, so I don't even look at the total. I just bet them over. Minnesota 43-21, hosting maybe the worst team in baseball, Seattle. 77% of the tickets are being written on Minnesota. They're around a minus 200. The over and under is 9.5 or 10. Seattle won last night, and they won 2 of 3 against Anaheim, but they're going to be in.
They didn't play last night.
Okay, sorry, 2 nights ago. Their last game.
Right, that was it. That was against the Angels.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Bit of a step up in class here.
That's what I was just about to say, but Dave, take it away.
Well, but here's the problem with the Twins is, and we talked about this possibly happening, and now it is happening as far as Martin Perez is concerned. He got off to a great start with that new cutter that he's throwing. But as is often the case, pitchers have a tendency to regress to where, in either direction, regress or progress to their norm. And it seems to be happening with Perez right now. He's had looks like 3 straight starts now that I would call subpar. And Mike Leake has actually pitched well his last couple of games. The problem is Mike Leake is home run prone. And the Twins are on pace to hit over 300 homers this season. They are the power team in Major League Baseball. So it's kind of one of those spots where by the way, I think Seattle might get D. Gordon back tonight, which certainly would help their offense, especially against the lefties. Killed lefties this year, despite the fact that he hits lefty. It's kind of one of those spots I'd like to take the Mariners, but I just don't know. I just don't think I can do it because I don't trust Leake against this lineup, and they're just a terrible baseball team. So, the value looks like it's on Seattle, but it's not a game I'm just not going to play it.
Drew Martin, what are your thoughts on this wonderful Seattle Mariners team?
I think defensively they're by far the worst in MLB, and it makes me always look towards the over. Seeing it 9.5 now. Dave talked about it. Minnesota's lineup. I think they'll put up crooked numbers against Leak. And on the other side, Seattle as a team has hit pretty well against lefties with a team OPS 774. That's top 10 in the major leagues. So seeing this number under 10, I like the over tonight.
Dave, Cokin, Washington Nationals on the road playing the White Sox. Washington only 4 games below 500 now.
Yep.
Finally playing some good ball. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 9. And the White Sox, inconsistent like they've been all season. Washington minus all the way up to 200. There are a few 190s on the board. 9.5 is the over and under. Corbin, who's been pitching well, man, 80 innings pitched this year, 3.5 ERA, 1.2 whip. Last 3 games, though, not so much.
No. And the problem is that his slider, that's his swing and miss pitch. It's really his out pitch, and he's just not locating his slider. And that's going to be a problem. I mean, it makes it really tough to back Corbin right now. The other side of this, though, is that the White Sox have just not seen any lefties. They haven't seen a lefty starter in over 3 weeks, which is kind of amazing considering how many lefties there are out there. And when they have seen lefties, they're not hitting them at all. If you look over the last 10 games, they're averaging 1 run per 9 innings when they face lefties. So either, and that's been all bullpen guys. Banuelos has been just god-awful. So it looks to me like a game where you've got a good chance for some scoring on the Washington side against Banuelos, but I don't know if Corbin's going to keep the White Sox off the board with his current form. At least he's getting to face a team that figures to struggle against lefties. By the way, Moncada might be out of the lineup for the White Sox tonight. He left with some back tightness last night. I guess I like the Nationals, but the price prohibits me from even giving it strong consideration.
I'm with you there, Dave. Although Washington have been good on the run line, and I don't mind a run line bet here. They're down 13 units on the money line this year and only 2 units on the run line, and they are the away team, guaranteeing themselves a bat in the 9th. Drew?
Yeah, good point on the run line there, Prez, especially them being the away team. I will say this, though. It's the NL team traveling to the AL, losing the DH, laying a big price here is something that shies me away from it.
They gained the DH.
Excuse me. I messed that up. But I will give you props, Dave, as far as fading the Chicago White Sox versus lefties. That was a great find, man, them not facing a lefty in the last 3 weeks, man. So props to you. I wrote that down for future use.
Houston against Milwaukee. Houston just, it's unbelievable baseball. This team is 45-22, and they are up only 8 units of money on the season and only 3.5 units of money on the run line. They're playing Milwaukee tonight. Milwaukee, both teams have been playing hardcore to the under. The total in this game is 8.5. There is a couple of 9s on the board. Houston is favored at minus 120. And, Milwaukee have won 4 in a row. They've won 6 of 8. And Houston, even with all of their injuries, I mean, this team is unbelievable. They've won 3 of 4, 8 of 10. I ain't getting in front of them, Dave.
Well, somebody is, because this is the big mover on the board today, with some sharp action showing on the Brewers. It's been bet down into the teens now. 25 is the highest I'm seeing. I'm seeing 16, 18, 19. So there's money on Milwaukee. And I think the thought process is, look, this is a good Brewers team. Bauers will be Hader will be available tonight in the late innings, which is always important when you're handicapping the Brewers. Peralta is wildly inconsistent. When he's locating he's basically a one-pitch guy. He does change speeds with his fastball, but it's fastball. When he's locating it, he's really good. And when he's not, he stinks. but he's been sharp lately. Peacock's solid as heck for the Twins, but for the Astros, I should say. But look, at some point, I don't care who you are. You got to start feeling the effects of losing three of your best players. And the Astros are without three of their best guys who are injured right now. I can see the move on the Brewers. I think you missed the boat if you like the Brewers. Plus 130 was out there, and now you're looking at getting plus 108.
Yeah.
Net range. To me, that's
Dave, there's
too much lost value.
There's a 102 on the board.
Yeah.
There's a 100 on the board at Bet365. Drew Martin, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. Sorry for throwing shade on your Washington-Chicago White Sox thing, saying that the DH, that was stupid. It makes it point more towards the Nationals. But in this game, like Dave said, with this market move here, Peacock has been pretty solid. You look at his outings in the game log, he's consistent. He's not getting banged up by really anybody. Granted, this is a good Milwaukee lineup, but at this price, Houston, even granted their injuries, I think it's a buy low opportunity on the Astros.
Detroit, yeah, and I agree with you, Drew. Listen, I like what Dave said. It makes sense, but in the same regard, I'm the seeing eye test. Bottom line, Houston just keeps winning, and they're such a short favorite tonight. I'm gonna take that bet. Detroit 24-38 on the season, playing Kansas City 20-45. Both of these teams are a nightmare. Detroit playing to the under, Kansas City playing to the over, but very, very barely. 55% of the money coming in on Kansas City tonight. They're minus 143. The over and under, there's 8.5s and 9s on the board. Dave, Detroit's lost 4 of their last 5 games. Kansas City has lost even more. My God, 8 of 9. Where are we going in this mess?
Nowhere. Not for me. There's no chance I'm laying 35 cents with the Royals, who are just horrific. And Turnbull's in better form than Junis. But do I want the Tigers? Nah, not especially. I do like Turnbull. I like Turnbull a lot. He's going to be a part of what is going to become a very good rotation within the next year. But I just can't get excited about backing the Tigers on the road. It's just 2 really bad teams. I'll leave it alone.
Drew?
I kind of like Turnbull first 5. Not enough to bet it right now, but also just a reminder to stay away from the Detroit bullpen as well. Under a 10 strikeout to walk ratio is pretty scary from a bullpen. That's the worst in baseball. So if you're going to bet the Tigers, I would lean you towards the first 5.
Chicago Cubs on the road playing Colorado. The Rockies 3 games above 500 right now. Both teams slightly playing to the over. Pretty even money-wise. The Rockies are a home dog, barely plus 110 to 118. A massive over and under of 12. We had a 6-5 ball game last night.
Great game. Tremendous game.
Yeah, missed it. Dave, what do you like in this game?
That was a fun game last night. Cubs got out to a 4-0 lead. Rockies came right back with 4. And that's the way it stayed until late in the game, and then they went back and forth. The Rockies pulled it out. See, here's the problem with this one. Lambert had that great debut, but it was against Wrigley, or against the Cubs at Wrigley. So now they're seeing the same rookie pitcher twice in a row. I don't know if I like that or not. That to me that's just a red flag, and I can see why the money's coming in on the Cubs. It's open 110. It's going to 128 now. I think I kind of agree with that. I also think the Cubs, they can hit anybody. The Rockies, I know they played really well at home lately, but they're still a team that if you're going to get them, I think you throw a good lefty at them, and I think you can contain that lineup somewhat. And Quintana's a pretty good lefty, so I would lean Cubs here. Haven't played it, still considering it.
This is an outright pass game for me. Drew, what do you like?
Yeah, it was a fun game yesterday, especially if you had a bet on the Rockies, and I agree. So did I. Quintana, I think, is a good enough lefty against this Rockies lineup, though. Just an 88 weighted runs created number against Southpaws for a Rocky team playing half their games in Coors Field. That's not a very impressive number there. So if you made me bet it, I'd be on the Cubs. But laying a number in Coors Field isn't something I like to do, so I passed.
San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants. San Diego 500 record. 72% of the tickets are being written on them today. They are -1. Oh, God, it's all over the map. I mean, 151, 177. The over and under is 8 in this game. San Diego's lost 2 in a row. San Francisco has lost 2 in a row. I'm passing on this game. Dave, where are you going?
Paddock getting a little extra rest here and getting a softer lineup. And he has a chance to dominate. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Tyler Beede, I'm not seeing anything to indicate Tyler Beede can pitch at the major league level. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, 17 innings pitched only, but a whip of over 2, an ERA of over 8. Just a disaster. And yes, Paddock is...
he's just a fringy prospect anyway. I think he's a bullpen piece, if anything. The Padres are pass here.
Yeah, and the thing is, I am passing on this game, but this is one of those games where you just wish the Padres could consistently hit so you can jump on the run line, but they can't, and I ain't laying that type of money. Drew?
Yeah, and I think Paddock's a great case study here. Coming right out of the gate, mowing opposing lineups down, looked like one of the best pitchers in baseball, especially one of the best young pitchers. And now he's kind of getting blown up. 5 runs, 4 runs. That's against Philly and New York. He's going to get a lot less of a talented lineup tonight. But still, at this price, I don't think it's worth the risk here, so I pass as well.
Need more than a fastball. He's got a great fastball, but you need more than one pitch to thrive as a major league starter. So he's got to work on his secondary stuff.
Dodgers lost last night.
What a game.
Yeah. I know what happened.
Really exciting game.
I know what happened in that one, and I gave out only one pick yesterday, Dave. And that was the under in the Dodgers game, and it hit. Tonight they're -160 on the road, 9.5 total. Last game of the day. Where are we going?
They're listing Bedrosian as the opener for Pena. I don't know if he's going to open or not because he pitched last night. If you're going to get involved in this game, I would just throw it action because Osmus is liable to go with somebody else in front of Pena. Pena did not pitch well in his most recent performance. He's been pretty good. Maeda, he's been rock solid for the Dodgers. Dodgers probably upset with themselves. They let one get away last night. A couple of defensive mishaps, and Joe Kelly was just a disaster late in the game. Wild pitches, walks. It was an ugly loss for the Dodgers. These teams play exciting games, and the Angels have had their number in this ballpark in the Freeway Series, but I think the Dodgers do get them tonight. The question is whether you want to lay that much of a price on the road, but that would be the side I would look at.
Drew?
Yeah, plus the fact, the Angels, they have owned them in this stadium. Plus, they see the ball very well in this stadium. One of the better home hitting teams in MLB. It's just stepping in front of this Dodgers lineup is something I think is going to be very hard to make money long term. So it's something that kept me off of it.
He's Drew Martin. I'm the Prez. Dave Cokin with us every day, guys. I'm away, and my next show will be next Wednesday. Drew and Dave will handle tomorrow. If for some reason there is no first pitch over the next few days, it's because we couldn't figure out how to get the software on Drew's computer. So bear with us. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. And make sure to check out Morning Joe and the Pro. We take a look at NBA Game 6. Be well, boys.
See you. Good luck at the poker tables.